Welcome to Family and Consumer Science. My name is Betty Comerford. I'm one of the three Family and Consumer Science teachers, and I'm really excited to talk to you back to school night. Sorry we're not meeting in person, but this gives me a chance to give an overview to all three grades. I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, so your child will get Family and Consumer Science every year while they're in middle school for 10 weeks. We do a rotation with other unified arts classes. So let me get started and tell you that this is not your grandmother's home ec. I've been teaching a little bit about me. I've been teaching for 13 years at HMX, 5 years before in Greenwich. And then I've had actually a lot of other careers before I actually started in the classroom. I graduated with a home ec degree from University of Illinois. When I couldn't get a teaching job back then, I actually ended up in Washington. And because I could type 100 words a minute, I ended up getting a job as an executive assistant on the campaign of Ronald Reagan. Then I ended up working at the White House for the first 4 years of his term, went back to school and got an MBA at the University of Virginia, and then spent 10 years working in advertising for Darcy Macias Benton and Bowles, followed by another 8 years working in test kitchens. And then I actually started back into the classroom. So I always tell students it took me 25 years to get where I should have been after college. But I think my background has really given me a broad overview for students, and it makes me love my job even more. So let's start talking about Family and Consumer Science is actually in New York State called Career and Technical Education. It really covers a broad group of topics: individual growth and life readiness, human development and relationships, apparel and textile production and design, environmental design and management, nutrition and wellness, and food systems and production. When it comes to individual growth and life readiness, we're talking about budgeting, personal finance, understanding credit, debit, and things like that. We cover a wide range of career exploration, starting with helping them fill out a job application, how to call someone to be their reference, how to work on, how to interview, how to dress for an interview, and things like that. We do social and emotional learning, and in that area, we cover stress management, relationships, decision-making, self-awareness, self-management, handling your emotions. That unit is human development and relationships. And really, that unit we cover a lot while we're doing all our other topics. We do basic sewing and clothing management. That means in my classroom, I actually have a washer and dryer, so I can teach them how to do things like that. We'll do hand sewing, learning how to sew a button on, basic hand sewing stitches that they need to know. A lot of our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and probably my biggest passion, is teaching kids at this age how to cook. We have a garden at the HMX, and we also have a greenhouse. Since I grew up on a farm, gardening I'm very passionate about teaching kids where their food comes from. So it's great to actually see and teach students, sort of every step of how to grow their own food. And we use a lot of resources like Edible Schoolyard to help us teach a lot of different topics. We focus a lot on nutrition and wellness. We teach kids about, whole foods, trying to teach them that, eat plants, not too much, and eat real food. We've been focusing on making sure this is the time of their lives where they're going to really have a growth spurt. So to me, teaching them what they should be eating, whether it's mealtime or snack time, is a big focus of our curriculum. We also focus on sustainability. It's something that I've done with my 7th graders this week, is pledging to make a simple everyday pledge that they can carry out over this next 10 weeks. on one of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. We also have green tigers as part of our school curriculum, and that's in terms of recycling and composting. When it comes to the biggest emphasis, I would say, is culinary, and that focuses on health, safety, and wellness. We try to basically have a progression. With COVID, it's been a little bit harder. For those of you that had us last year, you know that we had to do all our cooking at home. But here we are back in the classroom, and we are going to be able to do cooking. It's going to be a little different. I spent a lot of my summer working on the recipes and scaling them down to individual recipes. So kids will be doing their own cooking, working with their own ingredients, and that way they're more apt to buy into what we're doing, and it's just safer with COVID. They're not able to eat in classrooms, so I'm sorry that that is not going to happen, but I am thrilled that we will be able to get the kids doing some cooking and baking. Whatever they end up making, they will take with them to lunch and be able to eat it then or after school. So everything from a food safety standpoint will be safe if they have to wait a couple hours to lunch. So we'll basically teach them basic skills and techniques. Um, Again, like I said, we're doing a lot of individual in-person cooking labs following the COVID safety protocols. Um, and we will also be assigning them some at-home cooking labs, obviously with your supervision. And if students are not able to do that, we'll always give them an alternative assignment. So let me give you a quick overview of each grade. So in sixth grade, our curriculum focuses on healthy versus unhealthy food, being able to identify, the things that they should be eating. We focus a lot on kitchen safety, food safety, and sanitation. Then we'll do our basic culinary labs. We're going to have a sewing unit, and then we end the quarter dealing with personal finance. And that's teaching them basic finance when it comes to money management, um, knowing how to be a good shopper, understanding comparison shopping, credit and debit, understanding insurance and career explorations. It's a big area, but in sixth grade we focus on the basics. In seventh grade, we do social emotional learning. Again, we have a big emphasis on culinary and nutrition. Seventh grade, we also we start career exploration and life after high school. And then we also do like a budgeting unit on real life simulations. So they actually learn how to budget, double entry accounting. So we throw them different scenarios and they have to be able to manage their money with the hopes of saving 2000. One of the units we do, they have to save $2,000 for towards their college or education fund. And in eighth grade, again, we do a social emotional learning, a big emphasis on culinary and nutrition, but we really break it down for eighth grade into food and culture, food and the environment, and understanding our food system. Again, we want students to walk away. By the end of the 3 years, I want students to walk away with being comfortable in the kitchen, being able to make some simple recipes, and understand how where their food comes from, and how easy it is to grow it. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to have you call me. Um, you can send an email to bcomiford@mamkschools.org. I love this age of middle school. I think sixth, seventh, and eighth grade is the perfect age to get kids really, really cooking in the kitchen, helping out, and being more independent and self-sufficient. Thank you so much.